What's up, people? I'm Metalmouth, and you're listening to Horrific Murder Stories. Hey, even though these versions of the stories are heavily censored for the internet, they can still be very graphic and quite disturbing. So please listen at your own discretion. I'm going to tell you the story of the abduction of Amber Hagerman. Amber is the namesake for the Amber Alert system that we have in place today to help find abducted children. Amber was abducted January 13th, 1996. So this incident happened in Arlington, Texas, where Amber lived in an apartment with her mother Donna and her younger 6-year-old brother Ricky. This particular day was a Saturday, and it was quite warm for that time of year in Texas. They were over at Donna's parents' house, which was really common for them. They lived in a house not too far from the apartment. In fact, the kids kept their bikes there, and that particular day, Amber was very anxious to go out and ride her brand new pink bike that she had just gotten a few weeks earlier as a Christmas present. So Amber and Ricky, both on their bikes, head off out the driveway and down Highland Avenue. They were told to stay on the block and come right home, but being kids, they decided to go a little bit farther than they were supposed to. They went over to what was then a Winn-Dixie grocery store. This particular Winn-Dixie had a nice, large, paved lot that dipped down on the side of the building where the loading dock area was. The store had a large concrete loading dock, big ramp, concrete ramp going up to the dock, and kids loved to ride their bikes there. And that's exactly what they were doing. 6-year-old Ricky, 9-year-old Amber, just riding their bikes back and forth. And for whatever reason, Ricky wanted to go home. Maybe he was feeling a little guilty because he wasn't really supposed to be there. Maybe he was scared. But for whatever reason, he wanted to go back home. Amber told him, "You go ahead, I'll be right behind you." Ricky took off on his bike to Grandma's house, not even looking behind him. And Amber stayed back, playing on her bike, just riding back and forth. Up the ramp, down the ramp, up the ramp, down the ramp. There's a man named Jim Kibble who lived in a house right behind the parking lot of the Winn-Dixie, right where Amber was riding her bike. Mr. Kibble was in his mid-70s at the time, and he was out in his yard, and he saw Amber. He saw her riding back and forth, said he heard her laughing, heard her giggling. He's also the only eyewitness to the abduction. Mr. Kibble says that as Amber was riding her bike back and forth, he noticed a black pickup truck pulling into the lot, drove right up to where Amber was, and a dude got out of the truck. Mr. Kibble describes the guy as being white, possibly Hispanic, in his 20s or maybe 30s, probably about 6 foot tall or a few inches less. Mr. Kibble says dude goes over to Amber, just snatches her off her bike, threw her into the truck, and Mr. Kibble says that he knew right away this was not a family member, this was nobody that Amber knew, because she was screaming and kicking and fighting to get away from this dude the whole time. Guy jumps in the truck, shuts the door, and drives off. Mr. Kibble says he drove off towards town, away from the interstate. Now you gotta remember, this is January 13th, 1996. Cell phones are not extremely popular. I mean, a few people have them, but not everybody has them. Pagers are all the rage back then. Security cameras weren't really a thing. I mean, a few of them existed, but they weren't everywhere like they are today. So there's no footage of the abduction. There's none. There's no social media. I mean, MySpace didn't even come around until 2003. The only witness that came forward is Mr. Kibble. And this being 1996, Mr. Kibble being in his mid-70s at the time, he's no longer with us. So Ricky arrives back at his grandparents' house alone. And his grandpa comes out to the yard to greet him and wants to know, "Where's your sister?" Ricky says, "Oh, she's down at the Winn-Dixie riding her bike. We were down there riding and I wanted to come home. She decided to stay behind." Grandpa says, "Well, let's go get her." So they both get into Grandpa's pickup truck and head down to the Winn-Dixie to get Amber. From the time Ricky left Amber in the parking lot until the time he returned with his grandpa, 8 minutes had passed. 8 minutes. In that 8-minute span, Amber was abducted. Mr. Kibble witnessed the abduction. He went into his house, called 911 to report the abduction, and police were on scene. That's pretty quick, but unfortunately just not quick enough. Amber was missing for 4 agonizing days. It was around midnight on January 17th, 1996. when a man was walking his dog in a wooded area behind his apartment building, and he discovered the naked body of 9-year-old Amber Hagerman lying on the bed of a creek. Her throat had been slashed. In fact, the coroner ruled that as the official cause of death. But whoever did this to Amber really enjoyed cutting her up because her body was sliced up from head to toe. Police refused to say and you know it was extremely brutal. The distance between the place where the abduction happened and where the body was found is only 5 miles. And they say that where the body was found is not really an easy area to get to. Somebody would have to know the area to know how to get back in there. It's been 29 years now since Amber Hagerman was abducted and murdered, and police really have nothing to go on other than Mr. Kibble's testimony, what he saw. There's really no evidence. No fingerprints on her bike. Dude just got out of the truck and snatched her up, picked her up underneath her arms, so there's no fingerprints, nothing there. There was a thunderstorm the night before she was found, so any evidence there is washed away. It is good to know that Amber's abduction and murder is not in vain. It wasn't too long after it happened that a local woman, I believe she's local to Arlington, Texas, and I think her name was Deanna Simone. She called a radio station. She's not a broadcaster. She's a local woman. She's a mom. She's got concerns. She called a radio station with an idea. Her idea was, hey, if we can break into the radio broadcast, we can break into the TV broadcast to tell about the weather. Why can't we do that when children are abducted? And that idea, that call to that radio station, that spawned what is now known as the Amber Alert System. Of course, the Amber Alert System does take its name from Amber Hagerman, but it's also an acronym for American Missing Broadcast Emergency Response. That system is now adopted by all 50 states, and it has helped thousands of abducted kids to be found. So it's a sad story with a happy ending. I mean, the happy part is that all these thousands of abducted kids have been found because of this incident that happened in 1996 that spawned the Amber Alert System. And it didn't stop. I mean, it's still going on. This system is still in use. It's only going to get better. It's almost like that was Amber's purpose in life, to be here for just a short time so that she could die and become an angel to guide all these lost kids home. And if that's the case, she certainly earned those wings, and she's earning those wings on a daily basis. I don't really have any theories as to who might have done this or why. I mean, the why, that's pretty obvious, right? People like that are all over. They're everywhere. And I don't know who, but if I had to guess, it would be somebody local. Somebody local to that area. They know that area. It's not the first time they've done that, and they've done that since. Remember, it wasn't too long ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, in the Fort Worth area, there was a video circulating from a Ring doorbell camera of a mother walking down the street holding her 8-year-old daughter. A car pulled up, guy got out, knocked the mother down as he snatched the 8-year-old, put her in the car, and took off. That was only 15 miles from where Amber's abduction happened, and probably 15 years later. Shit like this happens every day, all across America, and other countries too. Kids just go missing. This was a pretty high-profile case at the time, and like I said, it spawned the Amber Alert System. I kind of think it may be the reason that you just don't see kids out and about on their own anymore. Not as much as you used to. I mean, when I was a kid, when I was growing up, you'd be out all day, literally. For hours, I'd be gone on my bike. My mom didn't know where I was. She didn't have a clue. People complain now that kids don't do anything. They just hang out in the house, play video games. There's a reason for that. Hey, you ever wonder what I'm really saying and who I'm saying it about? Unfortunately, because of all the different platforms that I broadcast on and all their different community standards and guidelines and blah, 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 I am forced to heavily censor these versions of horrific murder stories. But if you're a true sick, if you want to hear all the gory crime details, all the brutal, explicit talk, maybe even a motherfucker or two getting doxxed, you can access all my uncensored and exclusive content on my Patreon page, patreon.com/horrificmurder. horrific murder stories. Do you ever just want to listen to the metal without the horrific murder stories? No talk, no bullshit, just metal. Log on to metalmouthradio.com, a constant stream of pure, crushing metal radio. Less talk, more metal. metalmouthradio.com, because corporate radio sucks.